It's supposed to feel.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I'm Jim. With me is Doug. Doug, we've got a Pirates victory to talk about today.
Yes,
Come from behind win 9-7 over the Dodgers.
Hey, it's a great way to cap your 4th of July, that's for sure. It seems like everybody in the Dodgers lineup had 19 home runs. Every time I looked up, it was another guy coming up with 19 home runs. We don't get a good start from Ortiz. But the young guys, the young Bucks, Nick Gonzalez, Triolo, Henry Davis, and Josh Palacios. I mean, it was Sawinski. Sawinski had a meaningful home run and and got on base a couple times. It was it's a good outing. It was the pitching could have been better, but all in all, how can you not love this game? It was a fun game. It kept me awake.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: if it's a West Coast game, it's now 12:30 on the East Coast. So, yeah, if you're going to force us to stay up and watch this until 12:30, at least make it be a good game, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. So, we'll dig into everything, but let's start with that ninth inning. So the Pirates head into the ninth, down a run. The Dodgers closer, Evan Phillips, comes into the game, strikes out Santana, first batter. So you got one out. But then some pretty nice at bats by some people that you mentioned. So Sawinski draws a walk, Nick Gonzalez draws a walk, and that puts runners on for the rookie Jared Triolo, who's basically been up a week, Doug?
That's 7 games. They mentioned it several times. This is his 7th major league game.
So game 7 for Jared Triolo, down by 1 in the 9th at Dodger Stadium. And he comes through with an RBI single to tie things up. Another good game from Triolo. I'll tell you what, I wasn't expecting a lot from him. I was expecting good defense and then probably below average hitting from Triolo. And so far we're
similar to the guy he's replacing.
Yeah, I mean, so far he's been a decent hitter. He's put up major league at bats. He looks like he belongs.
Right. Exactly right. It's we've been kind of told that he's Ke'Bryan Hayes light in a sense, but he's actually producing the way that we want Ke'Bryan Hayes to produce, offensively. Right. We're not expecting a bunch of power. But he has good at bats, and he gets, maybe his exit velocities aren't as great, but he gets hits. He gets hits, and that's that was a big hit. That was a big situation. I said before we started, I don't care how we win. I don't care if all the runs are driven in by Santana and McCutchen and Ziogas, but it seems a little more fun, a little more exciting when it's these guys that have been up 2 weeks, these guys that we're hoping that are going to be parts of the future, impactful parts of the future. Gonzalez, Sawinski, Henry Davis. And now Triolo. With Triolo, you just say, hey, third base, that position is taken. But he's coming up, he's getting his opportunity, and he shows he deserves that when Key comes back, that okay, this guy's going to play some short, he's going to play some second, whatever. I don't want to see him go back down. Right there's several guys I'd rather see go before him at this point. So.
Yeah, I mean he's doing everything that you can ask from him right now. He did strike out 3 times today, but like you said, he kind of he came through when he needed to. He had 2 hits today.
Yeah, he went down and got
runners
that.
in scoring position.
Yeah, he went down and got that pitch. That was a nice plate appearance.
It was. So After that, runners on the corners. You had a tie game at that point. Rodolfo Castro due up. Josh Palacios pinch hits for Castro against the right-handed pitcher. And hey, like I said, we bash Shelton when he deserves to be bashed. You got to give him credit when he deserves the credit. So he pulled the right switch. He pulled the right string here. Palacios comes through with a pinch hit, 2-run double, and the Pirates take a 9-7 lead. How about Josh Palacios? Just he doesn't like he hasn't been good. Like you look at the numbers and he hasn't been good, but it seems like he comes through like when you need him to.
I mean, he's 5 for 7 as a pinch hitter.
That's wild.
So, right. That's just again, especially when you look at his overall numbers. I mention this every time. I just love his energy and enthusiasm. We've had a very stoic team over the years, and it's nice to see him and Henry Davis in particular injecting this kind of grit energy. He's not the next guy to be sent down, right? When if Choi comes up tomorrow or when Key comes back, to me there's a few more candidates. When he first came up, I thought he's just another one of these nondescript, and that's what he seemed like. He didn't really do anything, but again, it seems like he's had a couple of clutch hits. We'll see. Yeah, Nagowski, that's a good comp, right? Good comp. But hey, let's ride it out while we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, the Pirates score 3 there in the top of the 9th. David Bednar, who came in to finish off the 8th, finishes things off in the 9th. He gets 5 outs today. Not quite, what we saw from him in Dodger Stadium last year, but another good outing. He throws 26 pitches, so it wasn't anything like egregious.
No, I know, but it's making me nervous because we went from exclusively 1 inning performances and appearances to now it seems like we're asking him for more and more, and he's got a bad back. He's got I would like to see less, but then when we talk about Ortiz, I'm going to be hypocritical because I'm going to say I didn't want Ortiz coming back out in the 4th inning. He had given up all hard hits. His last 2 outs of we'd just taken the lead, and I knew he was going to give it right back, and he did. So if I want an Ortiz to come out in the 3rd, we don't have that many. We don't have that many pitchers. We're going to need to use somebody like Bednar for more than 3 outs. So it's tough. But
yeah, I mean, I think to your point there, starting pitchers were going a little bit longer earlier in the year.
Right.
And so you were able to kind of line up your bullpen in a way that saved Bednar from having to do stuff like this. And now you just don't have that luxury.
No, we don't have it. We had it was like 15 or 16 consecutive quality starts. So that means we needed a 7th, at the most, a 7th, 8th, and 9th guy. So it was easy. You're right. It was easy to protect and use the relievers in a way that was most effective. It's a lot tougher now. We're not getting the performances from the starters, and then the bullpen's not. Obviously it's taken its toll, and they've had some injuries, and they're not as effective. So it's tough. And I know we like to kill Shelton for every one of these decisions, but what are you going to do? It's not he's not holding a great hand right now.
Yeah. You're speaking of, the bullpen and not being effective. They were effective today though. So you got to give them credit. They were asked to pitch 5 2/3 innings today. So that's quick math, 17 outs. The bullpen was asked to get today, and they did a really good job. Carmen Majinski comes in relief of Ortiz in the 4th, finishes off that inning, and then gets his 1 batter in the 5th. Ryan Barucki,
your boy Ryan Barucki,
my boy,
your boy.
Yeah. Ryan Barucki comes in, and Ryan Barucki up to today had 0 strikeouts. this
How's
season.
it possible?
Which, like, yeah, like you
Right,
said,
right.
like
in an era of striking out.
in 5 games, 3 2/3 innings, 0 strikeouts. He faces 3 batters today and goes, I mean, all lefties. So like he came in, did his job, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. I mean, that's a huge 3 outs you're getting from Ryan Barucki. And then Holderman comes in. Nice to see him kind of get stretched out a little bit and look good. He was hitting 100 miles an hour on the gun a couple of times, coming back from the injury. An inning and 2/3, you get 5 outside of Holderman. Perdomo, really the only glitch there in the bullpen today. He gives up the home run, right? He gave up a home run to DeLuca.
Johnny DeLuca. I've never heard of John. I'm just gonna admit it. Never heard of Johnny DeLuca.
Johnny DeLuca. I'm pretty sure this was his first career home run.
Yes.
He
sounds like a character from Happy Days.
24 years old. Is there anything else kind of interesting about Johnny DeLuca? He was a 25th round draft pick in 2019 out of the University of Oregon. But yeah, not on any prospect lists whatsoever. Just kind of a guy that they've called up this year. And yeah, he almost won the game for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
today.
he sure did.
He go ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th. But like I said, luckily the Pirates were able to come back. But yeah, other than that, the bullpen looked really good today outside Perdomo. But they had to look good because the starter, Luis Ortiz, did not look good.
No, did not look good. And part of this, I blame on DiNardo, because on Starbucks the other morning, he said, the Dodgers are back healthy, but Outman's not playing very well anymore. Right?
You're right. He did say
yes,
that.
he did. And then what happens? 2 home runs for Outman. So where's the blame really lie? Is it DiNardo or is it Ortiz?
As much as I would also just love to place all the blame on DiNardo, I was playing PlayStation earlier tonight with Tyler, and he was talking about how the James Outman card in MLB The Show was awesome. So between DiNardo and Tyler,
right,
they just kind of manifested this.
That was
yeah. Blame those two.
That's some bad juju right there. Yeah.
But no, with Luis Ortiz, it's gotten to the concerning point.
Right.
Every once in a while, he'll put together these just workhorse dominant starts like he did against the Marlins, right? But then you see stuff like this where he's just not missing bats. Last start, he had 0 strikeouts in 4 2/3, couldn't finish 5 innings. Today, he can't finish 4 innings. And the same thing, like just only 6 swings and misses today.
Right. Yeah, they were squaring up. They were barreling up. They were crushing the ball again. His outs, were like, Jack Sawinski with his back to the wall. I mean, he did not look good. He didn't look good at any point. And you're right. It's starting to become a legitimate concern. Where's the development? Where's the adjustment? Where's the growth? That sort of thing. His velocity's down, and we're led to believe they've asked him to reduce his velocity for more control, but he wasn't fooling anybody today. And the control was right in the zone. So.
Yeah, and just the velocity's the kicker for me. He just looked so nasty last year.
Yeah.
When he was like 98, 97, and that fastball had a bunch of run on it. Like you could see that thing just zipping.
Yeah,
across
it was
the screen.
zipping, right.
and now he's just not that guy anymore. No. And it's just confusing to me. Like he's that like a 99 mile an hour pitch and a 95 mile an hour pitch, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of what we're seeing right now is the stuff just simply isn't as good as it was when we saw him last year.
Yeah, right. He doesn't look like the same pitcher. I mean, it looks like an entirely different guy. And the batters are taking advantage of that. And I mean, when you throw that on top of the disappointment that Roanzi's been, it's like, man, we better take Paul Skeens, right? So
it's just you want to see somebody not named Mitch Keller
right.
take like a step forward and show you just some
Consistency, right? Just back to 6 innings with 3 runs. I'm not, I'm not asking for like these dominant performances, but just protect the bullpen a little, keep us in the game. The kind of stuff we're expecting from Rich Hill, for crying out loud, and we're not even getting that. So yeah, it's time that somebody, or it's time to call up somebody. And at this point, I'd say Solometa, but
the issue with the Pirates pitching staff right now is like, yeah, if you had a lot of options, maybe you do with Ortiz what you're doing with Contreras, where you're either putting him in the bullpen or, maybe you send them down to work on things. But yeah, like the Pirates are kind of in a point right now where they can't really afford that luxury. Like they don't really have time or assets to.
Yeah, they're not going to acquire anybody, right? And there's really nobody in the minors that really looks ready to come up. Priester is still, he looks okay, but he's not beating down the door. And then I know Jared Jones and Solometa just not yet.
Priester's kind of in that same boat where we're just talking about like the consistency. Like Priester needs to show some consistency in your starts.
Yeah,
and he's not doing that either. But all right, well, anything else you want to add about the pitching?
No, I think it sums it up pretty well. And this was not a pitching game. This was like said, the bullpen did well, but this was a hitter's game. The offense showed up today.
The offense showed up today, and you know what? I want to say this lineup when it got put out. This was the most optimal, best lineup that they've probably put out here in the last 2 weeks.
This is the one we wanted to see. We wanted, Kutch,
this is it.
Reynolds, Davis, Santana. I would have preferred to see Swinsky and Gonzalez maybe switch places, but that's just kind of nitpicking. But yeah, it worked. A Kutch 0 for 6, and we still scored 9 runs. Right. Kutch has been the offense for a better part of the past couple of weeks. So the fact that we could overcome that, and we didn't get much out of Santana tonight either. But I got to tell you, the more I watch him, the more I like him. He is, it's funny because the Pirates don't care about defense at any position except catcher, apparently. Mm-hmm. They don't care. They'll put anybody in the middle infield. They'll put any middle infielder in the outfield. They don't care. But Gonzalez and Santana now, who I wasn't expecting, we were told right from the start that Gonzalez is not a shortstop. He's going to second base. And he's played a fine shortstop. Nothing spectacular, but very solid. And, his hitting. And Santana, man, he looks good over there at first. He has really good at bats. I know he's probably gone at the deadline, but I won't be mad if they keep him. I really enjoyed what we're getting out of him, and I would like a little more obvious production, but I think if we can get him a little rest, we might be able to get that.
Yeah, you mentioned a few guys there. Andrew McCutchen, like you said, 0 for 6. It is hard to believe that you can score 9 runs while Andrew McCutchen goes 0 for 6. But if anybody's kind of allowed a day like that, it's McCutchen. He's been just really, really good all season, super consistent. So, you know what? Get your 0 for 6 out of the way.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow.
And get 3 hits.
We got the win, right? You mentioned Nick Gonzalez, and I do want to spend some time talking about him because I think he was a guy that a lot of us not necessarily wrote off completely, but we all really tempered our expectations with him.
We sure have.
And I think everybody's kind of been very cautiously optimistic, about Nick Gonzalez, and just the fact that he's showing success, but it looks weird the way that he's doing it. Tonight he was outstanding. Double, single. He scored 2 runs, played really good defense. There were 2 plays in particular that he made that, I would have considered plus plays. He's now he's got an OPS hovering almost, at like 1,000 currently. He's like
Yeah.
970, 980, that area. He's been really impressive. And it's just 2 weeks, but cannot ask for more than what he's provided.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if Nick Gonzalez can be a good, productive major leaguer, that's huge for this rebuild.
Oh, absolutely. Especially like you said, I mean, we drafted him. We're told that he was going to be competing for batting titles. And then not one day in his minor league career did that look true. And then, he had injuries and he'd have one good month a year, right? He'd start out terrible. He'd get injured and then he'd come back and he'd crush it for August and then crush it in Arizona Fall League and then come back. It just, this year in the minors, again, he didn't look that great. He looked okay. Nothing like he's looking now. And I'm right. It's 10 games into his major league career. And that first game, he looks so overmatched, right? And we've heard, you guys had the guy on from Fangraphs. We've heard a bunch of people, just say, look, he might not even make it, right? He might not become a regular, he might be a utility player, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And we have a tendency to get excited after 10 games, but he's hitting the ball at 988 OPS. I mean, he's hitting 314, I think, or maybe a little less than that. But I don't know where, the league will start, exploiting some of the weakness, some of the holes in the swing. But man, you're right. Since we sort of, like you said, we didn't give up on him, but we didn't have very high expectations for him anymore. And if he could just exceed that, what we were expecting, like he's been doing, you're right. This speeds up the rebuild and answers some of the questions. Bad news for G1 Bay, Castro, Marcano. But
I just want to say here real quick, Bucko Mike. This is hilarious. Bucko Mike's been calling Nick Gonzalez Bust Gonzalez for 3 years now. And now he's saying my pick, Bucko, pick Gonzalez has come through.
Right.
No, I mean, and I think
first 3 game in high A, Bucko Mike was kind of a bust.
The biggest knock on him was the strikeout rate, right? It was just way too high for a hitter like him, and that's actually been, outside that first game, right. he looked kind of overmatched there, but since that first game, he hasn't been striking out as much. His K rate right now is 23.1%. Probably still needs to walk a little bit more. He worked that great walk tonight in the 9th inning. But yeah, I mean, again, only 11 games, but just about as good as
right. I mean, exactly. It's more than we expected. Who knows? At this point, I don't care how long it lasts. We needed it now. We're getting it, and hopefully he can continue on with that. It's been a very, very pleasant surprise. I didn't expect much from, and I really thought, because he's always started slow at every level, I really thought he'd be one of those guys hitting 187 right now and, with a bunch of strikeouts. So the fact that he's hitting over 300, that his OPS is almost 1,000, that he's playing his position so well. I mean, it's just, he has done really well on every front.
I like the Dodgers fans jumping in here. Everybody complains about their manager when they lose.
Yeah, it is right. You can have a guy have 78 consecutive saves, and you put him in and he blows the saves, and you're an idiot for putting him in the ninth with nobody on. Right?
Right.
And it's like, how could you put in Craig Kimbrell?
So again, Nick Gonzalez, huge game. Let's talk a little bit about Jack Sawinski too. Yeah. Another big walk there in the 9th inning to kind of get everything going, but he also smacked his 18th home run of the season. Jack Sawinski now, Doug, has 37
in his career. 37
career home runs.
I mean,
in like 180 games.
Yeah.
He's played barely over a season and he has 37 home runs. I still he confuses the hell out of me. because I still have no idea who he is.
I'm not
No
sure
idea.
if he helps us win games, right? I mean,
He
the
helped
guy,
today.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy's got a 850 OPS, and I'm not convinced that he contributes to winning. You know what I'm saying? Like he does in certain games. It seems, but it's like so many times he seems 0 for 3 in a walk. Or and it's 3 strikeouts. It's just, he is just a complete mystery. I mean, again, we have a bunch of other guys I don't know much about either, but at least with him, right? He has to play every day. You got to keep playing him against lefties. I would like to see him further down in the lineup. That would be my only real request. So when you do go through his 0 for 18s, he's not batting third. But beyond that, I mean, we have to keep playing him and just hope that consistency comes. He's a young player. Right. He's just, like 20 games into, what would be his second season. He has improved. He's improved over last year. He clearly puts in work. Right.
Absolutely has improved. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody who's saying he hasn't improved,
it's
the
still,
walk rate
like I said,
alone.
it's weird. And but he does walk more. He plays decent enough outfield. He plays a good outfield. And that power, last year, I remember people were saying he was kind of like Jason, like his home runs just barely cleared. Not this year. He is, he's crushing the ball. He hits on the road now. It's not just, he doesn't have those weird splits. He can't hit lefties very much. But I think in a season like this, there's no reason not to see if he can continue to prove. The kid works hard in the offseason. I think we've seen that in, both the past 2 off seasons. I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer what he's going to be. I don't know. This is going to be we're going to end this season with all the same questions we had at the beginning of the season. What is Castro? I don't know. What is Brian Hayes? I don't know. What is Jack Sawinski? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what else there is to do. Run him out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's impressive what he's doing, to be honest. Like it's the weirdest impressive season I've ever seen. His on-base percentage is up to 365 now. He's slugging .513.
He could win a Silver Slugger.
He's going to hit 30 homers.
Yeah. The guy's going to end up with 30 plus home runs. An OPS over 800. And somehow it seems like he all he does is strike out, never get a hit. And then, and again, I know we like to criticize and say the home runs don't come, but we needed that home run tonight. It was a good time. The walk was crucial. And a couple of nice catches in the outfield. It was a solid performance from Sawinski tonight. And,
yeah, it was one of his better games, just kind of all around, I think, of the season, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the lineup and kind of like where he should be. Honestly, like that lineup today that they put out, 1 through 6, McCutchen, Reynolds, Davis, Santana, Sawinski, Gonzalez, right? That's 6. Just run that out. Run that for the next. Run that until
October,
until it doesn't work.
Run that until Cruz comes back.
Yeah, until Cruz comes back. Run that. Run that 1 through 6.
Yeah, because Hayes comes back. I have no problem Hayes being 7th, 8th. There's right. Endy comes up. Again, maybe push everybody down a little, but I mean if I see tomorrow's lineup and Henry Davis is batting 6, or so I'm gonna he should be batting. Right in the thick of things, and again, close to Kutch and Reynolds as possible. This team is a weird team. It's hard to explain, but I believe it's close, right? I believe it's close. I mean, you can see it. It's like, all right, Sawinski gains a little consistency. Endy comes up, Cruz comes back, and you're like, all right, we're not. It's not a bunch of easy outs here, right? I mean, you'll have less hedges at bats. With Brian Hayes batting 7th or 8th, you're not so dependent upon him for offensive production. If anything, he gets a bonus, that sort of thing. Yeah, we're close. We are close.
Yep. Well, I think that does it for today's game. Do you have anything else to add?
No, it was a fun game. I was about to shoot your text and say, if this goes into extra innings, I'm done. I look like I'm asleep. So yeah, Jim looks great.
I crushed an energy drink like right around like the 5th inning or so, because I was like, I'm gonna need something. So it definitely helped. But yeah, a great game. Pirates win 9-7. They moved to 40-45 on the year. Tomorrow, 10:05 start. Osvaldo Obito versus Bobby Miller, my guy.
Your
Bobby
guy?
Miller.
Yeah.
Someone asked me further up in this chat here. I was trying to find it. I can't find it now. But no, I will not be rooting for the Dodgers just because Bobby Miller is starting. Brock asked me. But
the battery tomorrow, right?
Louisville battery tomorrow with Will Smith and Bobby Miller and Henry Davis, hopefully in the Pirates lineup. So
yeah,
there you go.
No, let's get it. Let's take the series, take the season series.
Hey, you win tomorrow and you guarantee a split.
You guarantee a split, and I think if you win tomorrow, right, you guarantee this because we took 2 out of 3. Yeah, I think
2 out of 3. Yeah. So if you win tomorrow, you take the season series
from the Dodgers for the 2nd year in a row.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone in the comments for staying up late with us. It is 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
And I did join the Discord tonight. So I will be in Discord.
Doug is in the Discord. P.S. If you're not in the Discord, it's super fun, especially during games. But we're in there, people are in there pretty much all day. There's almost 200 people in there, Doug.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
It is fun, and right, the focus, it basically eliminates all that crap off Twitter that you don't want, right? It's right to the pirate stuff, and no beautiful girls from Ukraine trying to get my attention, and that sort of thing. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, join the Discord. The link is in the description of the video. We'll be there all day, every day, and. Yeah, it's been fun so far. So, again, thanks for watching. You're up late. We'll let you go to bed now. Pirates win 9-7. We'll be back here tomorrow. See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page. It helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.